Oh, yes, yes, yes. We are here, guys. Guess what? It is hump day. And guess what? We definitely have something special for you today. Welcome, welcome, welcome from the battle to the glory. Yes, we are here. And listen, we got some special guests for you guys today. And listen, it is on. I'm going to get a little ghetto with y'all. It is on fleek today. You know this, man. And listen, we here. Listen, at From the Battle to the Glory, we love to have fun and laugh and just it gotta be too serious. You know what I'm saying? I was just having a conversation earlier with somebody, man. Listen, in this life, you gotta enjoy it and have fun in it. Not just be so serious that we can't just talk about something serious and not be laughing and joking about it. And so we bring something special to this joining with other people, other guests, and we like to have fun here. And so I had to just throw that in there. But let me introduce our guests. We got Jam C is in the building, and then we got Republican Lou. These are the hosts of Vocal. Let me make sure I'm saying it right. What is that?
Going,
Uh,
going
Going
vocal.
Vocal. They are the host of that podcast, and they, I connected with them, and now here they are with us. And then, of course, our favorite Rodney Glover, the host of Dad Mentality, man. And then, of course, the lovely Lady T. She stay on fire. And guess what? Of course, your host, Chef Dennis. Listen, it's been such a great time today for me. But before I go and talk about myself, listen, how was your days? Can y'all tell us how your day was going? How's everything going? Who want to go first?
Oh, I'll go. My day was pretty productive. I always try to do something. I do what's called I have a goal list. So I have short-term goals, which lead to my ultimate long-term goals. But my day, I try to be productive with everything I do. When I eat, if I'm working, if I go to the gym, or if I'm taking care of business around the house. Well, my day's pretty productive as always.
All right, that's great. Republican Lou?
Oh man, my day was at the plantation, man. It was high demand today at the plantation. It was a high demand. I'm telling you. Actually, I didn't even get a chance to finish all my reports, but I need to go back on and finish later on tonight. But I took a break to come and entertain and give my presence and my input to this podcast. And thank you for having us. Really appreciate that. And but my day has been, all I could just say is thank you, God. Thank you for just another day, and thank you
Absolutely.
for thank you
Absolutely.
thank you for a plantation to go to. You
Absolutely.
understand what I'm
There
saying?
you
So
go.
Absolutely.
thank you for
Absolutely.
that. So my day, they say the hardest part of the day, we had no control over that. So the hardest part of the day was waking up. Everything else was easy. We didn't have no control of waking up. All we had to do is just once we got up, now we
Get to
get
work.
active.
Yeah.
Now we go to active. So my day was good.
All right, that's wonderful. Rodney?
My day was great. My mother-in-law turned 70 years young today. We had a nice
Happy
little
birthday.
party. They had me cook for her. So, Chef Dennis, I can slowly wipe Chef Dennis off the map because, they've been in love with him ever since he came down and hung out with my family. But,
Hmm.
made some honey lemon salmon and made some steaks and asparagus, spinach, and all that good stuff. So they enjoyed it. The good news is my mother-in-law is a beautiful 70-year-old woman, so I'm excited. Every time I remember when I first met her and I was dating my wife, I saw her mother and I was like, yeah, if you look like your mom when you turn that age, I'm gonna be good. I'm looking good. So and now her mom looks great for 70, and I'm like, yeah, as long as them genes keep kicking in, I'm great. So life is good, and had a great time. So I'm excited about your show, Chef Dennis.
I
Oh, and
appreciate it.
Mrs. Cummins said hi too, sir.
Oh, thank you. Oh, man, I missed them. I can't wait to get back down here to see them. I had a lovely time with them, truly.
I want to
All right.
add one thing. I gotta add that to my list of my future wife. You need to look like your mother. You need to age.
Oh yeah, check out her mother. No,
Yeah,
you
you
got
need
to
to
check
age
out her mother,
gracefully, like
dog. Yeah, because if her mother don't
That's
age good,
important.
if her mother don't age good, go ahead and get out early, dog.
yeah,
Get out early.
yeah,
Trust me.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
See, I
100%.
man.
didn't, I didn't, I didn't think that far ahead, but now that's
Yeah.
some food for thought right there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Lady T, tell us a little
Uh,
bit briefly.
Day's been good. It's been good. It's been productive, semi-productive. It's been kind of sluggish, but I'm here. I think it's because I ate before, like I told y'all. I ate, so I'm gonna get there though. Okay, that fire is gonna come eventually.
Yeah, I
Uh,
feel you. I feel you. Well, you know me. I'm always like get the smile, just trying to have a light, just trying to be a beacon of light for people, and just trying to be encouraging, uplifting, always as possible. But I do want to say something. Yesterday, I gotta correct myself. Okay, gotta correct
Yeah.
myself.
wow. Hold
Gotta
on.
correct
What?
Stop the
myself.
presses. Hold
Hold on,
on.
I gotta correct
Hold
myself.
on.
Hey.
So the way I present it, I'm being honest because some of the viewers, I want to be honest and I want to lead them in the right direction. So I had said something yesterday on the show and I want to correct it. And the correction comes with this is that yes, I have to love my enemies with unconditional love, but I do have to set up boundaries so I will not allow them to come in and do the same thing to me. I have to be wise enough to be able to do that. And so, yes, I still have to show them love, unconditional love. And sometimes it may take me outside of my character because that's what God requires us to do to show the love that's unconditional. And so I have to change that and say, yes, I have to do that because it's the way I said it. I'm not letting the enemy come on in though. I won't. I'm gonna stay there, but I do have to love them into a place where I have to show unconditional love, and so you got to be wise with that. And so I just want to correct that openly and publicly because guess what? That's the things that I do. It's not about me. It's about what God has instilled in me, but not only in me, but I want others to understand that you don't be afraid to correct something you said because it shows humility. It shows humbleness, and I'm being humble enough to say that because it was wrong, it was incorrect, and I do have to love my enemies with unconditional love. And so at the end of the day, I still have to set boundaries to that point. And so I just want to correct that, and I'm glad. I thank God that Rodney's here so he can witness this. It's not about him. It's not about when God tell me something, I allow it to work on my heart, work on me because guess what? I don't want to be saying something that people get confused and like, what? I don't understand that. What do he mean? He's supposed to love so I had to address that. And I just want to say that. And I'm glad you guys here because this is who I am. My life is like an open book. It has to be because I want to, walk on that straight and narrow because I'm gonna fall, but I want to get back up and keep pressing. And so that's not a perfect life. I want people to understand that I don't live a perfect life, but I strive to do that. So when I make a mistake and it's public, I say, look, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. You got to forgive me because guess what? It's a process. And I just want to say that. Now we're going to go right into our
Hold on, hold
topic.
on. I think you should acknowledge that Lady T and Rodney said that, and then God confirmed it.
Yes.
But if you want to give all the glory to God, that's fine too. But
Hey, I'm not listen. Hey,
I
look.
just know I was on the show yesterday, and me and Lady T was clearly saying that you were wrong. But,
Okay, then hold up. Then you just hear me say. Then you just hear me say
no problem.
humbleness.
Sorry, JMC and Republican Lou. We gotta just
Well,
clarify some things.
No, that's fine.
Well, I one thing I will say, Chef Dennis, that's a key component to change because you took accountability.
Yeah.
So that's growth.
That's
Yep.
it.
I got to, JMC. I got to because guess what? Not only do I live a life where other people can see, right? I want other people that's trying to find themselves and say, you know what, Chef Dennis, man, he real. And it's not about me. It's not about me. I'm just the vessel. You understand me? And so that's why, and I appreciate it. I appreciate everything. You know what I mean? But we're gonna get up in this topic because I don't want to,
What's
run the
good,
time.
Chow?
But its repeating patterns reflects the energy you consistently emit. So, Lady T, Can you get into the airplane and take off for us, and then we're gonna jump in.
Okay. So this is something that came to my mind because I had to ask myself, what are you doing? You're doing the same thing over and over again, repeating patterns, whether in relationships, opportunities, challenges. It's also even setbacks, certain things that we can do that get us back into our bad habit is what I'm really focusing on. Good habits are good too, but the ones that have us just doing things that are rooted in fear, in scarcity, in self-doubt, that is what I'm really looking at. The negative aspects of our energy and how we repeat certain patterns. And I had to ask myself this and look at myself because I don't want to do scarcity and fear anymore in my life. It has not served me very well, and it hasn't served a lot of people around me either. So that's what I was like really thinking about and really contemplating. And I had to look at myself. And one thing I can say about me that I can give an example of as a energy that I admit is overspending. I have an overspending thing. And that is an underlying type of behavior that I need to figure out why I overspend, why I don't pay attention to what I just, give and, or buy or something like that. That's something that I really think that's true to my life, that I can, say I do have, like even food. I waste food. I don't like wasting, I don't want to keep buying something and throwing it in the trash. That is something I am continuously doing and I cannot stand it. But yet, how do I change it? I see the energy and I see other people doing the same thing. I'm attracting the same type of people in my life. I'm around it everywhere. We go to a restaurant. I've seen a lot of people spend money, a good amount of money on their food and will not take a doggy bag and take it home with them. They would be like, no, I'm done. A lot of food still left on the plate. They didn't spend their money. They're good. Like, and why do I have a mindset that I have to have a doggy bag and, take it home? You know what I'm saying? Something is off for me. I look at it as, oh, I have a scarcity mindset. I don't want to, throw my food away. Maybe I was grown. My parents taught me that, you sit in that table and eat all your food until it's all gone. So that might be something for my, upbringing, but it's mostly looking at ourselves, being honest to see what it is that we are repeating over and over, and it's not really helping us. Toxic relationships can be another one. Why are you always in a toxic relationship? Why are you bringing these people in your life? You're attracting them. You're doing something. We don't want to figure that out. So I wanted to, get some, back up on what y'all think on it.
No, I wanted to just, if you don't mind, if I want, because the rope is turning and I'm ready to jump in, right? And so, um, toxic relationships. You know what's so crazy about that is sometimes we made toxic relationships normal, right? Whereas the
100%.
a healthy one comes along, you be like, this is a bunch of bull. Like this ain't. You ain't yelling, you ain't cussing, you ain't fussing, you just happy, you peaceful. I ain't used to this. And so sometimes, and those, to go to what the topic is and repeating those things and keep repeating those negative behaviors, some of those negative behaviors have become norms. They become norms, and we kind of need to somehow, I think the first part is identifying that we're doing it and then work towards stop doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I think when you say relationships and toxic relationships, because I just think about myself and relationships that I have gotten into in times past, and I always wanted somebody that I had like that had the worst story ever. Oh, I grew up in an orphanage. My mom left me. My dad left me, and here I am. I'm like, I'm gonna come along and I'm gonna love you to like nobody else could ever love you. And then it wasn't until one of my friends who pointed out, like, you always picking up somebody that got a history and a story, right? You always want to try to save somebody. And it only makes me reflect back on maybe that's some things that happened to me. Maybe I'm looking for somebody to save me, but in the intro I'm trying to save somebody else. You get what I'm saying? So those bad behaviors can become norms. That's basically what I wanted to get at.
Yeah.
Nah, I 100% agree with you, sir. Definitely. I had brought that up last week when we talked about suffering. That a lot of people think that these things that are actually, not good for you, and look at them as normal. Like if you grew up in a house where your dad cursed your mom out, you think that's part of a relationship. You know what I'm saying? If you grew like for me, I grew up in a house where everything was celebrated with alcohol, whether it was a good thing or a bad thing, or it was Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's Tuesday. Let's get a bottle. So and that was normalized to me. But in reality, you got to realize that this stuff is not normal. You know what I'm saying? That is not normal. And the other thing that I love that you hit was the fact that when you actually meet somebody, like I talk to a lot of people on my show and things like that. We talk about relationships a lot, and it's crazy when I tell them. I was like, when you meet somebody who actually has you, women pray for that. They say, or men, you know what I'm saying, either or. They pray, I want somebody who got it together, this, that, and the other, until you get them.
That part.
And then you don't know how to do it. Then you don't know how to deal with them. You know what I'm saying? Because a man that has it together, that you start yelling at him, he's not going to give you that same energy. He's not going to do that same thing. So, or the same thing with a woman who has it together. If you're and then you're trying to cause an argument or this, that, and that, they're not going to give it to you. They already know that, they already know that this is not a part of what they want in their life. And you think that they're just crazy or whatever, or the man is, because the man doesn't allow something in there, now he has feminine traits or something like that. You know what I'm saying? That always comes up. But anyway, but to go back to the topic, I'm sorry. For me, repeating patterns, I got a new saying that I've implemented recently, is that if there's something in my life that I don't like and I don't change it, then I'm choosing it. And whenever I think about that, and things are not what I like I've talked about, I've changed my job twice in the last year. And that was because I kept on thinking that if I'm not happy here and I know this is where I don't want to be for the next 15 years, then why am I still choosing to come here? And why am I still choosing to do those things? And for years I did that. For years I worked in jobs that I did not, I've been in jobs for 15 years that I did not enjoy. I was only there for a check. And now it's just coming to a point in my life where I want it to have purpose. Like the money comes with it. It's a job. So what am I doing here that is going towards what God wants me to do and what God wants me to be? So, it's just about changing and trying to change those patterns that, you consistently been doing forever. So
JMC.
Yeah, I would say for myself, the things I need to work on is I'm a bit. Sometimes I could be a procrastinator, but I think I identify with that trait. So that's something that I'm better at because I used to be a habitual procrastinator. So like, but I think for me now, the thing I need to work on that I recycle doing is I'm very supportive to a fault, to a point where even I would even put my calls down to help somebody else's calls, and it's so naturally, I do it so natural I don't even realize I'm doing it. So let's say if you're in a relationship, and let's say I had a dream, I want to start my own business, and then I meet somebody, they want to start a business, I would just from habit stop what I'm doing to put my energy into focusing on helping them. And so I'm trying to change that narrative and always focus on self first. Because one of the craziest things I tell Republican leaders, we fly a lot, right? So they always tell you when you fly, when they give you the safety talk, they tell you put the life vest on yourself first before you can help somebody else. Because otherwise, if you put it on them, you're going to drown and they're going to survive. So you have to make sure you're good first before you can help somebody else. And I'm on autopilot when it comes to that. So that's something that I identify that I need to work on.
Mm, that's good. That's good. When I looked at the topic, I was like, repeating patterns reflects the energy. And the first thing that came to my mind is the things that you watch on TV, even as a child, even as a young teenager, even as an adult. these are the things that helps create a pattern that you as adult will begin to do. The entertainment that you like. You get habits from those things that you watch, and also the things that you listen to. That's why you have to be consistent on studying, and not only studying, just reading things that's going to be positive, that's going to be influential. Let me correct. I said influential. I'm getting tongue tied. Uh, and That's going to be encouraging. It's like if you're in a household, like Ronnie said earlier, if you're in a household with toxicity with your parents, you see that things and you begin to think that that's a
Yeah.
good relationship because you see them loving, hugging, but you see them cursing and calling each other names. You think calling your wife a B is a cool thing because my dad did it, and so now I'm doing it. How do you stop those things? Is like you said, like Republicans said earlier, is recognizing that and saying, you know what, hold up, this ain't normal. Let me change that. Let me do something different because I want to know what really love is. And so how do you determine what real love is? How do you determine that when you see those situations like that in a household? How do you determine that, Lady T, Rodney, JMC, Republican? When you see that and you become an adult, how do you recognize that? Because you already have created it. It's like that's normal. So now as an adult, and when you're getting ready to venture in your own relationships, how do you navigate that? How would you tell somebody how to navigate when you think that's normal? How do you come out of that?
Well,
I think I think it's hold on, Lou. I think it's based on the individual because I agree with you. If you grow up watching something your whole entire life, um, it's figuring out. I know for me, I can speak for myself. I grew up watching a lot of. I grew up a womanizer because that was my example. So, in as time went on, somewhere I read a lot, so I think that helped. To your point, I was educated on life, period. So when you start and then you start experiencing things, relationships, I guess in my own way, I started identifying where I was at fault at or where I was doing wrong. And then I had to see for myself, like, the things that I've been seeing in my life was not good. So I started working on me one step at a time. So now in relationships, I'm respectful to my significant other and I demand the same respect in return. But I think it's based on the individual on not just what they see, but how they want for themselves. Because if you don't have no self love, it's gonna be hard for you to love somebody else.
Mm.
No, I was what I was gonna say is how I learned love. It happened every 30 minutes. The Cosby Show was for 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Bill
Mm-hmm.
Cosby loved Claire in 30 minutes, right? They figured it all out in 30 minutes, and so you grew up in life thinking that things will work itself out within 30 minutes, as opposed to what the reality of life really is. And you're in a household and nobody's giving you a hug, or nobody is um, making it warm and inviting to come home, or nobody's making this environment a conducive environment for love. And so you just grew up somewhat numb in a sense, and you just kind of learn as you go, right?
Hmm.
And then with that being said, you kind of really don't have a clear understanding of what you're doing as far as of what love is, because no one taught it to you, or you never got a chance to really feel it. And so then when people say, do you know what uh have you ever been loved before? You ever been in love before? Or you like, yeah, I guess, right? I think I have, you know what I'm saying? But not really 100% know that you have been, because you never really experienced it before. And you're I think life is just like that. Everything is an experience. Life, every
Hmm.
day is a new day, right? So, they say yesterday is the past, uh tomorrow is the future, today is the present, right? So you don't know what's in that box. You just got to open it up and deal with the present as it comes, right? And I think another part to that whole thing too is with the lack of love, the lack of love that you're shown or not shown, right? It also, you don't know how to love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you're gonna be in a world of trouble. You're gonna be in a world of trouble. So, I think we just kind of learn it on the fly, especially if it wasn't taught at home.
Yeah,
That
pretty much.
Rodney, what you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think I think that so I talk about how my father passed away. I always had that anxiety about raising my own son. That when I got to a certain age, I wouldn't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? That I wouldn't know what was next, what to do with him when I got past the age of 11. And it was something that I had to pray about for. I prayed a lot about and asked God to guide me. And then the other thing is, sometimes you have to recognize your own weaknesses.
Mhm.
You have to see where you're wrong and know. Because I mean, we all know, even though I saw it in my house, I knew that alcohol wasn't the answer. You know what I'm saying? But it was just the crutch that I had built for myself. And I just remember seeing like he said, even in the Huxtables and things like that. I didn't know what that family dynamic really was. You know what I'm saying? And when I got married, I had to learn. I made mistakes, and really, you just got to be at a point where you're ready and willing to learn from those mistakes. I feel like eventually you get tired. Like eventually you get tired of making the same mistakes, doing the same thing, or like Miss Lady T said, you keep on running in that same pattern. You know what I'm saying? You keep on running the same pattern, meeting this girl, liking her, fighting, breaking up, meeting her, breaking up again, meeting her, breaking up again, whatever the case may be. You just keep on that same pattern, and eventually you just get tired of that pattern. Eventually you get tired of just like going through the same thing again, and you want different. It comes to that other saying about you know if you keep on doing the same thing and expecting a different result, that's the definition of insanity.
Insanity.
Yeah. So for me, eventually I just got tired. You know what I'm saying? Eventually I got tired. When I was young and in high school, I ran through a lot of girls in high school. And I mean, eventually I got tired. And I was like, you know what? I actually want a good woman. Like I'm gonna take care of this next one. I'm gonna not treat her like I treated all the rest of them and all this other kind and do this because I want different. Like I'm just tired. I'm tired of this same circle. I'm tired of, you know, doing the wrong things and figuring out something better. And you just have to take time to really make that change. And it takes time to make that change also. So
I just want to add this, and I see Lady T was want to say something. I had did a show, right, about 3 C's, and Rodney, I just want to just reiterate something that you said, is that we all have a chance to choose to change. 3 C's. You have a chance to choose to change. All three of them. When you think about our decision makings, you always have God has always give you a chance to choose to make a change. He gave us that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And that's why some people in the world, they just live it. They say, you know what? I'm good. I got money. I got finance. I'm good. I'm straight. I'm a good person. But it's more than just that. Because guess what? Everybody in this life is going to have a season when they're going to go through something. But if you don't have an opportunity to get your faith in line, guess what? When it's time for you to go through the storm, you won't be able to withstand the storm. And I think a lot of people in this world they miss that, because when you look at faith, a lot of people don't talk about that. They talk about I'll learn it on the fly. But guess what? It's not that easy when you don't have nothing else. You don't have a foundation to stand on. You standing on sand. And so when the storm come up, it's gonna wipe you away. What foundation do you really have? What are you living for? Just to say I'm living? What are you preserving? What are you doing? Lady T, go ahead. I know you wanted to say something. I saw you.
I've been talking to a lot of people, and I thought about everything what y'all were talking about. The one thing that came to my mind uh, is mothers. I'm going to say it. The conversations that I've had is how mothers yell at their children, and some of them will cuss at them. And some of them don't hug them. Some of them don't, kiss them and say, "How was your day?" Sit down and talk to them. And they grow up in a way where they're teaching their child not to know what love is. And I really think that people that don't pay attention to what comes out of their mouth, how they, say the words that they say, they're actually stuck. They're kind of like a little blind. Like, how do you teach somebody? I've always believed in books. I've always, from day one, I'm all about reading, educating yourself. Jam C said it. Educating ourselves is very important, that we have to learn how to speak it to other people. But people really don't want to learn. They rather be entertained. So I think, when we're having these conversations, these are good conversations to have, but when we're out on the street, can we, spark a light in a person with a conversation to make them see themselves in their bad behaviors, what they're emitting out into the world, and the energy that they're continuously bringing back to themselves. Like that's why, like, these conversations are great to have, but when we're out there, what are we doing with the people that are all around us? They don't really care. I think sometimes I feel like, we're all walking zombies. So I mean, but that's one thing. I look at life as we're all having to look at our bad habits, because if we look at our bad habits, that's basically mirroring the energy that we've been carrying around within ourselves. If we're paying attention to our bad habits, if we have good habits too, that's great. But the bad habits are overtaking, what we could actually be doing in our purpose in life, and what we could actually be free from the fear, because underlying those bad habits, there is something that we're afraid of. Are we afraid of our purpose? Are we afraid of our power? Are we afraid to be seen? These are the questions we have to ask.
Change. I think people are afraid of change.
Definitely. I would say, can I just piggyback on what Lady T just said? Because I was and kind of sometimes still am one who whatever comes up comes out, right? And it may be something that somebody probably needed to hear. It probably was the truth, right? But if they didn't receive it, then my words were wasted, right? It's how you present it and how you say things. Because if it's not caught, then it was a waste of time and waste of energy. You have to present it in the way, and I commend you, Lady T, the way that you said that. It's how we're presenting ourselves out, and are we speaking in a way that we're bringing light to that person? And I know in time past, I've been persecuting people with this tongue of mine. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm learning now not to be so, give grace, not to be so harsh with this tongue of mine, man, because I'll be tearing them up, cutting deep with this tongue. You
It,
understand what I'm saying? Cutting
it's
deep.
tough, Blue. I feel your pain, brother. It is tough. Trust me, because I got that sharp tongue too, and I had to learn that. My wife, and for me, my answer for the longest time was always, well, I'm not responsible for how somebody takes it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if I'm saying it, then I'm not responsible for how you take it. But then, you got to take the time to understand that you are. You know what I'm saying? If you're not saying it in a positive way or a positive form, then then it's still negative, no matter how needed it was to say. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? So,
Hey, Republican Lou and Rodney, just think about this. I'm just what y'all just said. Just think about this. We not perfect, right? But do God do that to us? Even when we
Nah.
doing something wrong, so just think about how you present it to somebody, how you talk to somebody, right? He don't do that to us. So why should we not? And this ain't a knock to y'all. It was just an encouragement. How saying it to somebody rough, God don't even do that to us. So we,
Nah.
like you said, Republican, you gotta have grace, because that's what He has for us. Everybody, there's people out here doing some foul stuff. He still showed them mercy and grace. Still showed them and be like, you know what? I can end your life right now.
Mm-hmm.
Still don't do it. And do they deserve to be their life taken? Yes. because of the crime that they doing. But God says, nah, I'm gonna show mercy for everybody. I'm gonna show grace to
Even his
everybody.
enemies.
You got to keep throwing that in there. Why you keep throwing that in there like a thorn? Okay,
What? I ain't
why you
saying
keep throwing
nothing,
it in
sir.
Hey, Jamsey, go ahead, man. I know you want to
Wait,
jump in. Come on, man.
let me one quick
Jump
thing.
in.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, bro.
The brother Rodney said he not responsible for how they take it,
Take it.
right? But if you look at it like this, and even myself have to look at it like this: if life and death is in the power of the power of the tongue, then we just killed somebody.
Nah, I got you. I feel
We,
you.
we
Yeah.
literally just killed somebody.
That's
So
it.
we got to be responsible. And I mean, granted,
Yeah.
like I said, a work in progress. You know,
Yeah,
I'm in line. I get up there, get what I need, and the next thing I gotta get back in line because I done messed up again. You know what I'm saying? So a work in progress on my
that's
end.
it.
I'm sorry for
Hey
taking over.
man.
Sorry.
Nah,
Nah,
you
you
good.
good.
One step at a
Good.
time, brother.
Yep. Go ahead, Jamsey.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything everybody said. I think oftentimes, I know for me, I've witnessed people talk to their children or men talk to their significant other and they have a habit of talking crazy. And so I think sometimes that's how I learned watching the elders talk, or how before I had children, I watched how people talk to their kids. And I know I didn't like it. I wouldn't want my mother or father to talk to me crazy, especially in public. Like I see couples argue in front of their children. And I'm a person that feel like, those discussions, a disagreement is supposed to be in the bedroom aside. Whatever we can agree to disagree, but not in front of the kids. And a lot of that, you see that going on now today. So to your point, a lot of kids think that that's normal. And that's why you have mom against dad when it comes to disciplinary and rules. Because if I know my mother's gonna say no, I go to my father. Because he runs the household, and then guess what? I'm gonna get what I want because dad said it's cool. I don't even have to talk to you no more, lady. I don't even, until a point where when I get a certain age, I could just fly out, disrespect my mother
Right.
because my father did it, and that's what I think, that's a woman is supposed to be quiet because my father showed me that. So I think we that become a habit, and it becomes hereditary, and it's passed down from generation to generation. And so it's, how do you change something like that? If you I'm a young boy, what advice would any of you give me? Me being a young boy, you see me being disrespectful to my child, my girlfriend, and I'm telling you that that's what I was raised. What would you tell me?
Lady T, what would you say? I'll let you
Okay,
go.
go ahead.
Uh, well, me, it depends on the circumstance because guess what? If I see you in public, I have to be mindful. Like, look, I know that's not right, but if God don't put it on my heart to say something, I might not say nothing. But I feel you because that's what I get in trouble with sometimes.
Well, look at it like I'm a friend.
All right, if
It's a
you're a
friend.
friend, I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, would you just think about it? Would you like somebody talking to your moms like that? Just would you like somebody else to talk to your mother like that? I don't think most kids will allow.
No, they wouldn't.
You don't feel me? Even if they disrespectful to their mother, it's a whole nother switch. I'm serious. It's a whole nother switch when somebody disrespects your mother and you disrespected to them. You know what I'm saying? It's a switch. You be like, hold up, don't talk to my mother, but you look how you talk to her, and you want somebody to
Yeah.
respect your moms, and you not respecting her. How that sound? And so I would encourage her. I say, look, you can't talk to your moms like that. She feed you, don't she clothe you? And then again, if the child said no, I said, but look, she brought you in this world. That she didn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep it real now. I would tell you that. I was like, let's keep it real now. She had the choice, even though I don't agree to that. I
Mm-hmm.
don't agree with that abortion, but she brought you in the world. Maybe it
Mm-hmm.
was a bad condition, and she still did it because you know what? She had a love for you as a child, and she brought you into this world. And so
Mm-hmm.
think about that, young man. That's what I would tell him. I said, think about that. I know it's hard to grasp right now because you're probably upset, but let that sink in a little bit because guess what? She had a choice. She could have been like, you know what? I don't want no kids. This man not gonna be in my life. And you know what? But she didn't do that. She said, I'm gonna have this child no matter what, no matter the condition, no matter the circumstance. And so, that's what I would say. Man. Rodney, what about you? Or
So
Republican?
my therapist, because my therapist, we had this conversation and he
Mm-hmm.
had it with me, and he was like, well, let me ask you a question. I was like, yeah. He was like, would you let your daughter's boyfriend talk to your daughter
That
like
part.
that?
That's where I would have went with it. That part.
Yeah. And I was like, no. And then
Exactly.
he was like, well, that's somebody's daughter. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? That's somebody's daughter. That is somebody's mother. That's somebody's this, whatever the case may be. But
Hmm.
that, yeah, my therapist, that's where he went with it. And I would use that same thing because mine was, I mean, I talk about very freely about my relationship with my wife. I can't even remember what I did. I didn't call her out her name, but I used to, when I got angry, I used to punch walls. You know what I'm saying, and do that kind of stuff in early in our relationship. I never put my hands on my wife, but I did. I get angry, and then I blame her for be like, "Look what you made me did," type conversation. You know what I'm saying? But that, like I said, that was regular in my household. You know what I'm saying? That type of not really physical abuse, but you know, throwing things and things going crazy was regular in my household. So that's how I thought you were supposed to respond. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, well, at least I didn't hit her. That it's okay. But that's still not okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's still
Facts.
not okay. One, it's expensive. I gotta keep on fixing these damn walls. And two, is nothing productive from that. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? There's nothing productive by me doing that. And I remember I did it one time, and my mom happened to be in the house, and I punched the wall. And I had never seen panic in my mom's face like that ever. And she hauled ass out, and she was on a walker, and she was on that walker running her ass out my house. So I just realized that. Yeah, and then after that, I told my mom, I was like, yeah, that'll never happen again. And I realized also that the other thing I would say to them is, why do you give that person that power? Because whoever it is, let's just say it's your wife. Why are you giving your wife the power to make you act a way you don't want to act? We can all agree you don't want to act this way, correct? Yes. Well, then why are you giving her that power? There should be nothing she can do to make you respond that way. If you do respond that way, then you just gave her that power. Because right before I hit that wall, I made the decision to hit that wall. Right before you call out that name, you make the decision to call her out that name. So she ain't making you do it, but you're giving her the power. You're giving her the power to make you act the way that you don't want to act. And that is a power you need to take back. You know what I'm saying? The greatest thing that I ever learned in my relationship was to stop giving my wife that power, and stop treating my wife like a god. Because I wanted her to solve all my problems instead of going to Christ. And that was something that I learned because it was always what she did. What she, oh, you ain't give me none last night, so I'm upset. You making my day bad. You know what I'm saying? Like it was always stuff like that. And you gotta learn that. Hey, your wife does not have that power to solve anything. And you got to stop counting on her, looking towards her to be that. And it's the same thing with anything else. You know what I'm saying? If you go to the bottle, you know what I'm saying? If you go to the bottle, you're doing the same thing. You're making that your God. You go to shopping, whatever the case may be, you're making that your God, because those are only just crutches. They're not solving anything. You really you have to go to God to get that the real thing that you want is with him. So there you go.
AT.
If I want to remember the story right, but I think I got it. But if I saw a child that saw their parents acting out, is that what it is? What remember some?
It's
Right.
a friend. Like you could
Like
use
a
a
friend.
family member, a friend, somebody that you have a relationship with, and and you witness a form of disrespect towards another.
I think I would bring up love. I would somehow bring up love. Like it would be better for y'all to, hug and walk away. I would say something that would show in a loving way that they need to have learned to have compassion, because anger is not good when you're sitting up here arguing with each other and acting out. And especially if a child is watching. So that's what I was thinking about. Like if I saw that the child is watching their parents, acting out and stuff, I would probably approach the child and say, sometimes mommy needs a hug and you might have to tell daddy that, mommy needs a hug, something that
Mhm.
will bring the whole wall down. And I
Mhm.
think love does that. And especially when you have a child deliver the message. So, I
Facts.
feel like that's something that I would probably do, especially if it's a child involved. But if I saw, people being disrespectful, I would most likely, say something that has to do with love or the lack of love that they're showing one another. So it would be something about love.
I would say, and I'm trying not to be long-winded with this question, but it just makes me think of. I remember when I was a teenager, about 17, 16, 17, I was dating this young lady, and I had got aggressive, getting aggressive with her, right? She told my mother. My mother said, "You wouldn't want nobody hitting me. You wouldn't want nobody hitting on your sisters. That's somebody's sister and that's somebody's mother. Keep your hands to yourself." That was the last time that ever happened, right? Never had that situation happen ever again, right? And another thing, I'm not a Bible thumper, but there's some scriptures that just stick out to me. And one that stuck out to me, and my mom used to always say this to me as a kid. It is always, that scripture was, honor your mother and your father, and your days shall be long. Right? That scripture was enough for me never to disrespect my mother ever. And when I see kids that do it now, and my mother is going on to be with the Lord, in 2021, she went on to be with the Lord. And now I see that what it feels like not to have a mother, when somebody be disrespecting their moms, yo, it grinds my gears. You hear me? Grinds my gears when I hear that. So my advice would be, listen, you're talking to somebody that ain't gonna be with you forever. You need to cherish this person. You need to
Mhm.
cherish them and love this person, because when they're gone, you're gonna wish you had those days that you can be like, oh my, oh this, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you're disrespecting a parent or a mother. If you putting your hands on if a young fella being disrespectful to his lady, or the lady being disrespectful to the man, listen, this seems like a situation that y'all don't even need to be together. If y'all gotta
Yeah.
talk to each other like this, y'all don't even need to be together, because what all y'all doing is prolonging the inevitable. You
Yeah.
guys are gonna separate. You're gonna separate if you don't respect each other enough to talk to somebody with some sense and respect. Y'all not gonna last. So that would kind of be my approach to it, in a sense, and a lot of my answer is really based on personal experiences and personal feelings that I've gone through. So I would love to, impart that wisdom on other people as well. So that would be my answer.
So, Lady C, I was sitting there and you were just sitting there so calm. I want to ask you something. So, in doing the repeating patterns, what are you doing to change those repeating patterns that you recognize that you're doing that it hinders you? Uh, what are you doing to change those? And then we can go around the panel.
Okay. I did take a break on meditation, but I have been getting back into it. And in my meditation, I've done meditation for a long time now. And when I do my meditation, I'm able to, take no thought, right? That's what the Bible says, take no thought. And when you take no thought, that's where the presence of God really comes. And you just allow that space to just be. I really try to get there. But before I get there, I always ask for what I need. I need to ask for, please give me discernment to know when to do this and when to do that. Please give me the steps that I need to take to learn what I need to learn to go to the next direction. You have me going here and I want to do it the right way. There are certain things in my mind that I meditate on that I'm asking God. I will ask the Lord for everything that I need in meditation. And so that's something that I've been doing regularly a lot more, because I do realize I have to change. This is the time for my transition of change in life, and I have no choice. I've been pushed into it, and so I need God to just help take the wheel, or drive, do everything. He's going to lead it. So now, after that, every time I'm walking around in my mind, I am still meditating on what I had my eyes closed and I had a prayer about. I'm still asking for it throughout the day. So I continuously ask. I have it in my mind. I keep it at my forefront of my mind I keep it in my ears. I want to do it every day. So that's my thing. That's how I feel like I can transform my life is if I keep my mind stayed on him. If I keep my mind stayed on him and ask for everything that I need, then it will be given to me. That's how life has been. But I look at it as this is difficult. This time is a little bit more difficult because it's me and my behaviors. 40 some odd years of doing these things over and over and over, and your bad habits, you're like, oh, it's just my body is automatic. It automatically does that. I want my wine, y'all. I want my wine every day. And I have a problem. I'll go to the, liquor store or wine, get my stuff and have it put it in my truck and be like, thank you. Bye-bye. Things that I do regularly, I have to learn how to hold up, pump your brakes. Do not do that. I have to talk to myself. So that's what I've been doing. I'm trying to, get into a lot more of reading again, because it's good to open up your mind to understand things a little bit different. I don't want to, put myself in a box. So I'm going to try to expand myself, so that's what I'm trying to do daily is a daily walk to, keep my mind on God, ask for it continuously. And I trust that it will be given to me, but I have to be about the work. So every day, little step by step, I'm doing the work, whatever I asked for, whatever I'm seeking. If I ask to, be able to learn something, I got to get my books. I got to learn. I got to pay attention, stuff like that. That makes sense?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
definitely.
Jam C, what about you? What are you doing to increase your walk, your relationships, your life, and what are you doing to add value to life or recognize some of the things that the bad patterns you had, and now you recognize it and you're trying to move in a different focus.
You know what I do? I have this thing, sort of like Lady T. Before I start my day, I pray, and I have this phrase that I keep down. It's a tagline. I have it in my emails, and I have it on my phone. It's the first thing I see when I look at my phone, and it says, "Be productive in spite of all obstacles." And so when I get up and start my day, no matter what happens, I know I have to be productive, and God takes care of the rest. So as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to do that day, I know that my next goal is going to be accomplished. So I practice that, and it works. I stand on that. So, and I'm at least I'm allowed to say that, and that's even with my health, my diet, my job, my independent goals, my this podcast show, everything that I do, I have to be productive. One day, this is it's because of Republican law and I being productive. This is how we all met.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly how.
That is true.
Republican, what about you?
Well, I think, and it's almost like Lady T set the foundation, right, in a sense of what needed to be done. And I know that I find myself sometimes, first identifying the problem. And I think one of the problems is always want to take a shortcut, right? Oh, just want to use as less of my brain as possible, right? When I got so much of it to use and I just want to use as less as possible and get through this, right? And so when I find myself trying, like looking for a shortcut or an easy way, or let me just get through this and get it done, right? I got to pull myself up. Hey, no, don't take a shortcut. Go
Mm-hmm.
through it. Take your time. Give it a valid shot, right? Don't breeze through it. Don't be willy nilly about it. So as long as I'm continuously pulling myself up about something, then that's me working at it and getting better at it. As long as I'm identifying that, hey, this is a problem area,
Mm-hmm.
tread lightly. You understand? Be careful what you say to this person. I know you got heartburn and you're ready to cuss them out, but just slow down, right? And give them words of wisdom because you just never know something you may say may either one save their life or two push them over the edge, right? So you just gotta be just gotta be mindful. That's basically what I lock in on. Just being mindful of what it is and pulling myself up.
Rodney.
All right. For me, I always say to myself 21 days. So for me, it takes 21 days to create a new habit.
Correct.
And I always say that to myself. So when I know that I want to start something new or do something new, I make sure that I take the time to plan and commit those 21 days.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it takes time, but I've always learned if I do when I do it and I make it through the 21 days, and here's the other thing: I only do one thing at a time. I don't do three things. I don't try to change three different things or 10 different things. I
Mm-hmm.
always talk to my wife because my wife likes to do 10 things, and then I say nothing gets done. If you
Mm-hmm.
take one
Mm-hmm.
thing and you do it one thing at a time, and you take the 21 days and commit to it, it becomes a habit. You know what I'm saying? It becomes something that now is normal to you. I get up and meditate every morning. You know what I'm saying? Every morning I get up and meditate. I spent the last 21 days working on. I've had a problem with praying. I've had a problem all my life with praying with people. And I now pray with my wife every morning. I set that 21 days that I pray with her every morning because for me, prayer is very personal. Like for me, when I pray, yeah, I'm having a conversation with God. I'm talking about my deepest thoughts, concerns, and issues and things like that, and putting them out there. It's our time. I've always had a problem with with praying with other people, but I'm working on that. And like I said, it's 21 days. Commit to it, do it, and get through the 21 days, and then it becomes easy. It's the same thing like working out. Whenever you start working out, it's the first 21 days. But then once you get through those 21 days and you go to the gym, you're not feeling that pain no more. You're not feeling that soreness like you used to feel all the time, and this, that, and the other. So, that's just my philosophy. Whenever I'm trying to get something new or build a new habit or build this, that I pick that one thing and I dedicate the 21 days to it.
Well, for myself, I always, look at my circle and I evaluate the people that's in my circle. Are they adding value to my life? And the reason why I say that is because, I thank God that my father's still alive. And the reason why I say that is because, he say this to me all the time. And the first thing that comes to my mind, shut your mouth, be humble. And he says this to me. Y'all gonna laugh though. He said, Terrell, that's my middle name because I'm a junior. He
Mm-hmm.
says, take off your concrete boots. And I know you guys probably wondering what that means. It's because when I'm locked in on something, I don't hear nobody else. I just be locked in and not really receiving what the other person is saying. I just want to get my point across. And so my dad always say to me when we having this conversation, take your concrete boots off. And then first thing I do, it's like I'm being like, I want you guys to be visual because look, there's how your blood pressure goes up, right? It goes all the way to
Mm-hmm.
the top. So when he say that to me, it's like the press is all the way up here because I'm ready to go in. It's like because I want to hear what he's saying. And God uses him, to bring me a message. And even in my journey right now, it's always for me. This is always thing I always deal with and work with is being humble. Um, you know, I had an incident at my job, and now people are like trying to shun me, make me look like the bad guy, and all this other stuff. And I said, you know what? I am not about to let that happen. And so, some people don't talk to me. I'm like, okay, fine, because at the end of the day, things could have turned another way, and I did allow it because of my humbleness. And I know the truth. I don't have to defend. I don't have to argue or anything like. But that comes with a process. That came with a process, and that's being humble. Because I'm telling you that if you're not at that place, the things that they do and say, you would be like, yo, hold up, who you think you talking to? And I
Mm-hmm.
can't be like that. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And I'm keeping it real and honest with you guys. I'll be wanting to like, what? I'll be wanting to go upside some people's heads, but I can't. You know what I'm saying? But what would it prosper me to do that if I did that? And so my biggest thing, my biggest task right now is just being humble. Cause I used to be, listen, fighting all the time, going upside people's head, sneaking people, doing all type of stuff. I'm not that same person anymore. You know what I'm saying? I recognize that. And you know, with my parents, my family, I recognize that because, you know, how I was raised. Everybody not don't have the opportunity to be raised with two parents. You know, I had both parents, but then they got separated. Then I had, you know, God blessed me with another, you know, moms, and living in the same household, you know, with two parents is big. It's big. And so, you know, when I look at my life, I take bits and pieces from them. And so the biggest thing for me, the biggest tussle that I have is being humble. That's that. I'm gonna be real with y'all. That's a big. That's because see how I had to come up here today and say that. Man, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't want to. I swear I did. No, I'm for real. I promise you. I'm keeping it 100. I did not want to, but I was like, man, oh man. What? I said, how am I say this? But at the end of the day,
You saw
inside,
how quick he tried to switch the conversation.
not, but
Go ahead.
inside, truly, you know, I always want to do the best thing and the right thing. Not for me, for other people that's listening to me, the other people that value my advice, they value the things that I'm doing. It's not about me. It's about I want to be used 100%. You know what I'm saying? By God. You know, it because at the end of the day, if you follow man, you're gonna fail. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I don't care who you are listening. I don't care any. If you follow man, you will fail. You have to allow God to lead you because guess what? Man is imperfect. We are fickle. 1 minute we happy, 1 minute we sad. It just happened because guess what? It depends on your circumstance, your situation, where you feel like that. It depends on how you are as an individual. But guess what? I know there's gonna be days where you're gonna be sad and you ain't gonna want to talk to nobody. You ain't gonna be want to talk about God. Then you're gonna be like, oh well, I just like right now I'm having a bad day. I don't want to talk right now. I don't want to talk right now. Lily T.
You know, I was thinking of something. I've heard a lot of people they like to talk about their past suffering. And I feel like past suffering a lot of times can, you know, hold us back from what God has for us. I think that's something that I want to see more and more where people can, you know, turn and shift their past suffering into, you know, a transformation where the story becomes pain, but it's wisdom, you know, from the pain. You know, there's a way of us, you know, learning how to take what we were hurt in and not talk about it all the time, and we're still getting the same type of suffering where we're, you know, talking about our pain all the time, like our past pain. Oh God, you know, God, I got this issue with my health, you know, over and over, and we talk about being healed, and yet they don't know how to heal. Like I want to see us as people truly be more, you know, understanding, getting understanding. You know, we are dying because of lack of wisdom, lack of knowledge. You know, we are dying because we do not understand. And so I want to, you know, be able to say to people in a way where they will understand what I'm saying, as like there's a way that can help you. You know, don't sit up here and hinder your own self. You're doing it to yourself by talking about this over and over and telling people, you know, this is my past, this is my pain, this is my pain, and I went through this pain. You are identifying yourself with this pain. You are making yourself the pain and saying this is all that is, you know, but transforming it into something that can, you know, show the true wisdom of the pain. You know, that's what I want us to be able to relay in our messages and be able to give to our children and our children's children. We need to talk differently. All of us do, because we're killing one another. We're doing things out of our mouth, with our hands, with our behaviors, where we're just killing one another and we're all dying. We are decaying and dying because of this, because we don't know how to truly love thyself. Of course, it starts with loving yourself, and we need to teach that as well. So that's really what it is.
People claim people cling to negativity.
Yeah.
People remember you can have a great day, and the only thing you'll think about is that one negative thing that happened that day. You know what I'm saying? It kind of goes into that whole saying about, you know, if you go to a restaurant, you have a great experience, you tell no one. You go to a restaurant, you have a bad experience, you tell everybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Negativity in things in your life have that same people have that same thought process. You know what I'm saying? Like you go through your day and 10 great things that happen and you'll be like, cool. And then soon as something negative happened, you're talking about that for the next 5, 6 hours. You don't forgot completely about the 10 great things that happened. You know what I'm saying? And that is something that I definitely talk about a lot. It's one of the things that we focus on dad mentality is, talking about your mental health, talking about who you are, and talking about the positive things that's going on in your life. Not all, not focusing on the negative, but in society, that is what we do. You know what I'm saying? What's on TV? Negativity, news, the Housewives of Atlanta, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the biggest shows? It's usually something negative. And the thing about it is that we as a people in a culture have to start celebrating the positive. That mentality was created to talk about the dads who are doing great in their children's lives, talking about the mentality of real fathers and real men who go out here and accomplish great things and giving them their flowers. I definitely think it's something that we as a society and as a people really and as a culture really need to get back to that. Like not allowing the negativity to be the thing that gets highlighted all the time. I talk about the fact that there's my I was on and I'm gonna mention this because I talk about it all the time on the Morning Max show with my friends on there, and I say, why do we keep on talking about these young kids doing bad when there's young kids doing great? You know what I'm saying? My best friend's son was a valedictorian from the school with a 4.6 GPA. Let's talk about him. You know what I'm saying? That's why I had him on dad mentality. That's why I had these things going on. But we as a culture have to really start um, bringing out the positive opposed to talking about the negative all the time. This is one of the reasons why I love coming on this show because I know we're going to have a positive conversation. This show resets me for the week. You know what I'm saying? With the same thing when I go to church, the positivity there, everything it resets me. This show resets me, and I love the fact that we can go on here, have a great conversation, and do these things. And I think we should be, as a culture and as a people, should be doing more of it. My opinion.
I agree. I
I
agree.
agree.
And I would like to add something real quick. Okay, so I always say self-awareness is very important, and we need to teach people how to be self-aware of themselves. We have to learn how to say, look, you need to start asking yourself certain questions, and it can come to you with that, whoever that person is in your life, where you will tell them, you need to ask yourself such and such question. Why do you do this? Why do you not do that? And then let that sit in their mind, because that is something we need to be asked more regularly to help people put a question in their mind that make them think a little bit, that might make them think a lot. They'd be like, that was weird for them to ask me that, but it's on their brain, that you put it into their spirit, and now they have to really reflect on themselves. But we need to start making our people more accountable to look at themselves and why they do what they do, why they, act the way they act. And if it's right, would they want to deal with it? Would they want that for their life? Would they want to be treated the way that they treat other people? Stuff like that. We need to learn how to allow people to be self-aware of themselves, because a lot of people are not paying attention to themselves. We can sit up here and say, I wasn't taught that, but a lot of people can see television and they know what television life looks like, about a happy family and what a happy family would look like and what love would look like. So they have an imagination. I know that everybody can see, when we see, what others are doing, but yet our life might not reflect what others are doing because of a certain thing that we need to be aware of. So self-awareness is very important that we need to teach.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, come on,
Okay. Yeah,
Ted.
yeah. What I would like to see in talking about how we do the same things over and over, based on if everybody who watched the show today, within the sound of our voice or in the view of us, let's bring more love in the household. Like let's be the example of love, because I think it starts at home. So I think if you show love from household to household, it becomes a community thing. So if you do that in the community, you have less. You can minimize a lot of conflict, because we could resolve our issues in love. We can agree to disagree and still love each other, and show that through example. So that also applies to even the music we listen to, the shows that we watch. Let's have a discussion on what's real and what's not real, and what's exaggerated and what's not exaggerated. And I think if we start, it starts with self. It starts in my household. So I started in my household with the hopes that my friends do it in theirs, and it becomes everybody's doing it. So I mean, because you can't change everybody, but it's the one mind. You spark the one mind, you change the community.
Yeah.
True.
And that's it's crazy that y'all guys saying this, because look, I being a podcast, this podcast is big now. Everybody trying to do a podcast, so you gotta really listen to some content and see what's good and what's not. The biggest thing, mine is always faith based, but some of these people, and I don't talk negative about people, but what you just said, JMC, is important, because some people are putting this message about how you supposed to be as a believer, as a follower of Christ,
Mm-hmm.
but they not really being vulnerable enough to say, you know what, I too sometimes fall, and this is what it looks like. They want to just say this is what you're supposed to do, but don't
Mm-hmm.
present, I'm in that same bucket as you. I'm no better than you. So this is the way how I navigate through this. And so how do you do it, and have that conversation? And some do, and then some don't. And I think that's where it starts. Like you said, definitely it starts at home. It starts there first. That's
Mm-hmm.
the foundation. How your
Mm-hmm.
foundation? Is it on a strong foundation? Is it on weak? Is it on a limp? Or is it, what I'm saying? Is it, up and down? You know what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, you got to think about those things. And the foundation, it has to be home. You're right about that. It definitely has to be home. Roddy, you want to say something, add to that?
Nah, I'm good. I ain't say nothing. I'm good. I think I said what I said.
Oh, yeah. So you just listen. At the end of the day, that's what we do over here. Is just trying to be positive, trying to be encouraging, and enlighten people on how to be a better version of yourself. You know what I mean? And so that's what we do here. And we've been doing a great job here. And so
Awesome
we
job.
are
I
all
really love it.
always trying to be positive.
Yeah. I want to add some things. I've been doing more with communicating. Something about myself that I've started doing is, putting out my energy in a different way that I normally didn't. I'm not a communicator. My cousin knows this very well. We know each other very well, where I never was about communicating. Okay. I fumbled over my words. My lips was not moving the right way. I had issues. And so I now know that I have to communicate because this is what I asked for. But I've learned that I have to also, create new reflections. And so what I started doing is telling more people about this. Nobody knew about this on my side, like my friends, my coworkers, and things like that. And so I started doing a little bit more to say, okay, we're going in 2 years now, and I'm finally telling y'all about this. This is what it is. And I had to, because the direction of where my life is going put me to say, you've got to open up. And that's something that I want to encourage people, is we need to learn how to communicate better. I feel like, this is something that we all can do. We can all come up on here. Chef always invites people all the time. I love it. I love, learning about different people and stuff like that. You too. I have not listened to your podcast, but I will. I try to keep up with everybody, but we do have a lot of guests on here. It seems like every week lately, and he's about it, and I'm okay with it, so I get to meet new people. But I do want to encourage people to have the time to talk freely about life, and have a one-on-one relationship with person they never met before on the laptop, and have a conversation that can be difficult and make us think a little bit. So I think podcast is great. I wasn't a fan about it when I
Mm-hmm.
first came on here, because I had to be obedient to what God told me to do, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
really trying to open up to a different me. So
And now she's a star.
No.
You
Hey,
can't tell my
No.
daughter that.
I
Oh,
word. You can't.
Can't tell
Hey,
my
listen.
daughter that.
Hey,
Yeah, my daughter
we,
couldn't wait to see Lady T. She didn't care about nobody. Where
she
Lady T at?
you
Yeah.
definitely a star.
But I think too, with a lot of things with that communication thing that you were referencing in your last remark is I think that we live in such a soft society nowadays where people get so offended by just having a conversation, you know, and it makes it hard for the communication to happen because everyone is so offended, right? Um, I think everybody can't be so sensitive.
you right.
Everything can't be that bad. Whereas that hurt your feelings, or this hurt my race, or this hurt my sexuality, this hurt my. It can't be that bad. It really can't be that bad. Somebody offended my religion. Come on, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I ain't like your tone when you said this. Well, I mean, I was excited. You understand what I'm saying? So,
Nah, that's
Yeah.
a fact.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
not.
Yeah,
That's
I
what I
get it.
definitely get. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that a lot. It's like, yo, why you yelling? What you mean? I'm not yelling. I'm excited. I'm speaking with authority, or let me not use that word authority because that can get,
enthusiasm.
yeah,
Yeah, dude.
enthusiasm. Yeah, because if I say authority, boys, boy, they be like, what? You ain't no authority over me. Oh no, I ain't saying it like that. So that's a trigger word, right, Lady T?
Yeah, that's a trigger word.
Yeah,
John,
but
that's it. Yeah, go ahead, Roddy. Go
no, I
ahead,
was
Rod.
gonna say, but a lot of people, when it comes to this, they're afraid of being vulnerable.
Mm,
Yeah.
And that I've noticed that because I do my podcast and I bring people on and I invite people on and this, that, and the other. And sometimes you get those people that are just terrified
yeah.
of being vulnerable and terrified of something that they said will be used against them, something that they said will be brought up later, or this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. I done said many times on my show, don't DM me because I don't care. Like, if you didn't like what I said, keep it to yourself. Or if you don't like what I'm saying, don't click. It's very simple. You know what I'm saying? So, but a lot of people are afraid of that of being vulnerable. And that was something that I had to battle with. My wife refused to listen to my show at first. You know what I'm saying? And it did make me angry, but hey, I knew I was on my own growth and it didn't have nothing to do with her. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So I was okay with it. But then when her friends started telling her stuff about my show and going on, and when it turned out one of her friends had watched 300 hours, you know what I'm saying? It was my number one fan. I had no clue. And when they go and talk to my wife, then she's gonna then my wife started asking me questions and being a part of it and this, that, and the other. And but then the other part was I still had to prove to her that I was being the man that I was being on the show because she was the first person to call me a hypocrite. She was the first person to be like, you on your show and you doing this and you doing that, but you're not living that life. And well, first of all, you don't watch my show, so you wouldn't know what I'm saying. I said, but second, I was like, I'm not perfect, but I'm trying every day. Every day, I'm trying to be the best version of myself, no matter what you feel or what you think. And you have to have that type of thought process because if you read every comment or take everything to heart, you have haters. I have haters. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes they come on they come on other people's shows, Chef Dennis, and start talking about something I said somewhere else. So it is what it is. But the fact of the matter is, because going to what Lady T said, is that a lot of people are afraid of that vulnerability, and they're afraid of addressing themselves. You know what I'm saying? The last thing they want to do is actually deal with an issue that they have about themselves. Like they'll be like, "Oh, I can talk about you all I want, but I'm not going to talk about me." You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'll join in. to y'all conversation, but then when it comes to them, then they're petrified.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just gotta you gotta be willing to be vulnerable. You gotta be willing to change, and you gotta be willing to even do. I made fun of Chef Dennis for coming in and saying that he said something wrong and he felt different about him, doing that acknowledgement. But that's something you got to do. That's bettering yourself.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? That's bettering yourself and being the best person you are. And if you're being the best person you can be every day, then I feel like you're always moving in that step forward to being closer to God, and building a better relationship with Him. So.
Okay, let me say that, Chef Dennis. I got a timeout now. I have to
Right.
get along and move on to some going vocal things, but I want to appreciate you guys for having me on from Battle to Glory. I think you guys are dope. Dad mentality. I think you guys are dope. I love what you're doing, and we would definitely like to come back and do this again sometime soon, and likely get you on our show as well.
Of course, always. You know my email. Listen, you got my number too, JMC.
Yes,
So
yes.
always you can contact me anytime and just let me know what we gonna do and hook it up. And I'll be reaching out to you as well.
Much love to you
All
guys.
right.
Nice to meet
We,
you.
Yo,
Nice to meet you, brother.
and I
same
wanted to
here.
say
All right.
thank you as well, guys. I would love to stay, but my battery is dying, so I
All
can't
right. I got
can't
you.
stay. I
Yeah,
can't
all right.
stay, but I would love to say. And again, thank you for inviting us and having us on. You guys are wonderful. You guys are awesome, and we really appreciate it. Looking forward if we're invited to come back to do it again.
Of
You know?
course you
And
definitely is.
so,
I
thank you
got you,
for
brother.
everything.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right,
Peace.
Nice
All
to
right,
meet
man.
y'all.
Peace, man.
Take
Peace.
care.
Peace.
All right. So we got go ahead, Lady T.
So it was good. It was good. I'm glad we did that. I feel like we gotta do better with our topics, though. I ain't gonna lie.
I mean, T, look, T.
I mean, look, okay. I feel
Yeah.
like I know you're going off my topics. I know, but I want to, I want us to, get something else. I want it to be different a little bit. So just because
You feel like you feel like it wasn't deep enough or in depth enough, or
I feel like everything is being said over and over in a different way.
All right, so hey, Lady T, I'm gonna keep because I want you to do this then. Since you said it like that, right? We still live, so I want you to say this. Now watch this. So just know this. My answer is always gonna come from, and I'm just not yours could be too, from a spiritual aspect. And the reason why I said that is because guess what? We can talk about relationships, what's going on in the world, what relationships, why their relationships are not working the way they are supposed to work, their marriages, all those type of things. But we would have to really get in depth and educate, ourselves on how to present that to the audience.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, there are some things I want to talk about. I'm okay with talking about it. And so I respected the fact that you gave us, you put your time and your hard work in giving those stories to me, the topics. I'm sorry, the topics. You know what I mean? And no, they good topics. So it's not like like the whole thing you gave me with distractions. The distractions thing, that's wow. We did some of them, but I be like moving around with different topics, and so we can do stuff like that too. That's okay because
just don't put pattern into the topic no more. Because if Chuck Dennis say pattern one more time, I thought I was going to explode.
Hey man, listen. Just because you listen, no, you can't hear me. Take them headphones off.
Sir, you said it several times.
Pattern.
No, you said patterns.
No.
You putting letters and words that ain't even. You got a whole nother what is it, syllable there. It's just pattern. Yeah, you be patterns.
Pattern.
Now I know dang.
Lady T.
Hey, look,
did you hear it too?
I did.
Because I
corrected himself.
Wait, what do that say up there? Let me hold on. What do that say up there?
You read it.
What do that say up there?
Patterns.
Oh,
repeating patterns reflects the energy.
Hey, I don't hear the S.
Consistently emit.
I don't hear the S.
You were saying
what?
Patterns.
You were saying patterns.
I said reflecting patterns.
That's not a word. That's
Lord
it.
Jesus.
Patterns.
Man,
Patterns.
It's just patterns.
Let me get something real quick.
Patterns.
Let me get something. Let me get something real quick. I want this dude to hear this.
Ooh. You don't got. I don't need to hear nothing. Why?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Come on,
yeah, you do.
man. Just sometimes you just got. What is
Have
it?
the
Hey,
dictionary say
don't
it.
stand in
No.
your concrete boots, sir.
That's right.
Don't stand in your concrete boots because
Hey,
you're about to
yo,
do it
I
again.
knew you was gonna use that
I
again.
know. Look, he gonna
Yeah.
use that against me, boy.
Don't stand
Hey,
in your
Lady T,
concrete
he
boots.
is going to use that every time he want to throw a boomerang at me. He's like, yo,
He's
D,
like,
yo,
ding
get out your
ding.
concrete.
Hey, get out of your concrete boots, brother. The
Lord
word
Jesus.
is not patterns. That is not a
Pattern.
word.
Oh, so what you know what, Rodney?
Yes,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you for the correction. Let me
No problem.
pronounce it
Trying
correctly.
to help you out.
Let's
Let
see.
me let, patterns.
There, that's
Is
better.
that better for you? Patterns.
Yes.
Is that
You
better
be
for you?
saying words. Like last week, you were saying a word, and I wanted to say, time out. What's the word you're saying? Like you were saying, I'm gonna get it one day.
What word?
Oh God, it's gonna.
I
come
remember
to
it
me.
because
You do?
because I catch it. I don't remember the word, but I remember when he
You
said it
remember?
because I'm
Yeah.
always
I was like, what is he
I'm
saying?
a Nazi sometimes about it. Yeah, it be
Words. Yeah.
driving me crazy.
Yeah.
Like
You were
I
going.
don't like sword. I don't like what is it?
Yeah, I don't like
What did
sword
they say?
either.
Sword and scrape, scrimp, and
Strip.
it's another one. It's another one that people always say.
Script.
Instead of is it
String.
salmon, they say something else. Instead of salmon. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
I
Yeah,
don't know which one is right.
salmon is right. It's not
Salmon.
salmon. Yeah, it's salmon. Yes. If you're talking about the fish, it's salmon. Salmon is a person. So you know.
I'm not even gonna respond.
Okay, that's a good way
Yeah.
to say it.
I'm not even gonna respond. I'm not even gonna
But you know, I'm just glad patterns was driving me nuts.
Yeah.
But you
well,
know.
but you say, you know what?
What I say? Tell me what I say. I'm
Nothing.
good. I'm about learning. I like to learn.
Look.
I mess up words all the time, y'all. You let me know.
No, this dude is
Rodney.
No, this
yo, D,
words
chef,
I
you
can't
can't
say.
say that, man. Oh,
I can't say certain words too.
yeah, you know what I mean?
There's certain words that I may mess up, but you know I stay away from them. But you know
Look, that's why I love it here, man. Seriously.
it's all
Love
good.
it.
We gonna learn. Give you something else to look at tonight when you go back to watch the show, just like last week. You know.
Last week. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
last week when we had the argument about loving your enemies. Don't
That
worry
was
about it.
yesterday, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
Sad.
I'm sorry.
The week went by so fast.
Yeah, I used to
Sad.
do. I'm used to me doing my show weekly, so I forgot that it was yesterday. You know, I'm tired, man.
Yeah.
I'm
You've
beat.
been cooking.
Cooked, did my thing. You know.
You didn't work today?
Yeah, I worked today. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely worked today. Yeah, got to earn my check every day, brother. I don't get that sweet work you get to do. You know what I'm saying? Get to go to HR and then not get in trouble. Yeah. I go to HR. I'm not coming back out that office. They gonna bring security.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I go to HR, but you know. But I thought I enjoyed the conversation today. I would love to know how to go deeper, or what exactly you want to talk about to go
No,
deeper. You
Let
know,
me end this.
I'm down to go.
Let me end this session,
Go
guys. We
deeper.
will talk to you guys next week. Guys, be blessed and be encouraged. This is the end of the show. This is the end of the week. We will see you guys next week. Be blessed. Peace.
Peace.
See y'all later.